let the head scratching commence. Hey folks, welcome back. It's the big barn build. We're inside in the dry this week. Lots of progress made. We've got bedroom walls, bathrooms, cupboards. It's all going on. Stick around, let's make a start. Right, that is all of the sealant done to this point. So what we're doing is sealing in between each of the joints, in between each of the panels. So they're 1 meter sections, so we just got to join. And even though we've got some mastic sort of butyl tape between the two panels as we fit them, I just wanted to fill this joint just to make sure we're nice and airtight and vapor tight. There's just a lot of them. So I bought this for this reason actually, and it was well worth it because I can't imagine doing this all by hand. You'd be feeling a bit achy by now. We've still got a lot that we're going to have to do off towers in the full height areas, but most of these, I mean, we're getting through loads of it. This is just an acrylic Acra rub, which seems to be doing the job. It's more for kind of sealing around windows and stuff, but it's essentially the same sort of thing we're doing here. So it's relatively cost effective to do with this rather than the airtight tapes. So we're going to run that through the whole building, every junction between the sheets, and then we're going to do our air test. And then after that, hopefully, we'll have minimal amounts of bits to sort. And while I'm doing that, Tom's got the fun job of more ceiling tracks going in. So these are the top hat profiles that we're putting in throughout the whole of the building. We've got some insulation to sit above these, just for a little bit of sound deadening. Now we contacted Kingspan and got them to do a risk analysis for condensation, and that's all come back absolutely fine. So we're just going to have that sat on top of the ceiling tracks here, basically on top of our plasterboard. So we're now lifting in a couple hundred lengths of timber, which has been under wraps, but it's got a bit wet. Should be okay. It seems quite straight. What we did is strap down the pack after we'd opened it to keep it all straight and nice. So what we're going to start on is the shower room. So I've got this wall here. Originally there was going to be a huge big landing sort of lounge area. A bit unnecessary, but it's just how it happened. And a shower room that side of this wall, and then a smaller bedroom study. Then we had a fourth child, so we decided that all 4 children's bedrooms should be pretty evenly sized. Therefore we just shifted this shower room to this side of the frame. But the forklift has decided to die on us. So poor Tom's outside doing the heavy lifting while I slide them in up here. The original plan was a shower at the end. The problem is, you know, even if you're okay head height, you still got to have the shower above you, really. So the furthest, it just wouldn't have worked, I don't think. So we're going to put the toilet this end and the shower this end. What that means is we'll have to come in here. Ja.
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 Yeah. So what's happening here? That's going up.
That's going up. It's
into that corner. Yeah, we're just good there, I think. Yeah. Well, that's the cage fighting cage ready.
Yeah.
Okay, that is mini bathroom, ensuite, shower in, thingy-mabob done. We're going to cut the bottom plate out there. We just put it down to run through in a straight line. We can do that at any time. All of this is going to be obviously plasterboard on the outside, tile backer around that end, and then all this can be plasterboard, and we'll just need to work out a layout. For now, we're going to work that wall straight through in a straight line all the way to where the curve starts. So we're going to lay that out. We can do a chalk line on the floor like we did before. These last few bits of timber are in the way. Once they're used up, we can then run that wall in, which is the eaves wall, basically the end of the house, start of the loft space. Let the head scratching commence.
I've chalked that one through. Fender of that pillar.
We're happy with that one.
Yeah, it looks as though we put that in
intentionally
in the right place. I don't know
why we decided
why we chose there. Like,
did we walk along with a stud?
Yeah, it was.
There was a reason, wasn't there? All right, me and the camera are basically where you'd be. So slide it my way then. It's not affecting it at all. Keep going.
Why, you're not going to be.
No, that's too far. Yeah. So where you are now.
Straight.
Where you are now is safe. This is the important bit, wherever that is.
Wherever that is.
So we're just saying that's the end of the wall.
Yeah.
That's running all the way into the steel. Is that right?
Yeah. It just works like how.
Right, more walls up this morning. So we've now got in, I can't remember where we started. Yeah, these are all new. So door into this bedroom. We've got the little hallway going up to the picture window. And we've just done this open sort of right angle space. A few more noggins to go in and then we can start framing off the eaves. So kind of basically blocking off the ends of the rooms into the storage room, or in that case over that side, it's going to be where the MVHR units are and all the ductwork. Now, we're going to do a load more videos and content around all the MVHR. So this is quite a nice open space now. We obviously did away with the idea of that curve because it didn't really bring anything to the party. What we have done is got this space at the end of the hallway when you're looking down. We can either have a unit there or just put in an extra, that's why there's loads of studs there, an extra one in the middle. Because if you're going to hang a big heavy mirror there, it makes sense to have something where you know we can get a big fixing in. So that's it. Nice view all the way through to the end. and the doors are now opposite each other. 2, 3, 2. Well, that's the last 2 walls down this end. So we've got this section here. We put in quite a wide door there because there's nothing worse than trying to squeeze through a little hatch into a loft space. We know we've got equipment to put in there, and we know we're going to have junk and Christmas decorations. So that's a full 33-inch door, whatever that 868. Obviously it's cut down in height, but if you've got a duck, you've got a duck, so that's fine. So coming through into this room. So this room is actually the same depth as that one over there, but because there's a pantry downstairs, it didn't make sense to have a really high pantry. Therefore, we've got this extra 1200 space. So this will probably end up being stud wall with some sliding doors, and that'll be extra loft space. So it's not theoretically part of the room, but we are going to put the wall there first because we don't really want to fall down into the kitchen for now. And then we'll probably fill this one in after all the plastering's done, build that as a partition, probably with a pair of sliders either side, something like that. Last stud on the end gable wall we've left out because there's both wiring and potential ductwork to come through there. Well, we made good progress on the south bedrooms yesterday and we're carrying on today. So carried these ceiling rails all the way down to, well, nearly to the far eaves. And we've kind of recreated a bit of the loft space. So this loft space is just huge and it's off a bedroom. We've still got enough loft space at the back of this. So this is going to be like a store, playroom type thing coming off this bedroom. And I put full double doors in here. So we can either hinge them back on themselves or they could slide or whatever it might be. Build this wall flat on the floor, stand it up. It should sit nicely. It's just a bit easier. Everything else we've done bit by bit. So I'm going to transfer the measurements out. While Dad's cutting those studs, I'll try and get all this done. So that's doorway. What I've learnt from the last house is always go full width door for access into the loft. No little custom made hatches. There's just no point. It's cheaper as well to just buy a bog standard door and cut it down. So that's a 30-inch door, whatever that is, 767. The other one over the other side, because it's got plant sort of machinery in it for the ventilation, we've gone for even bigger door, and we'll cut that down to height.
Where's the opening going to be?
Yeah.
Oh, right.
I'll put it to one side, otherwise when you look in, like if you want a nice
Yeah.
shelving.
Yeah.
That's fine. Let's just check it will go. That's all we need to do. So that middle's in the right place. Push that out.
Out? Outwards?
Yeah. Well, that worked pretty well. Of course, there's a little bit of variation across our purlin, whether it's a little bit lower in the middle or vice versa. But because we're mid-bay, there's enough flex in these, it just sits in nicely. So we're going to put the last two studs in on the end, well, the penultimate studs, and then I'm going to fix that up with the laser, fix it up into the tracking, and then that's pretty much done. That gives a 2.4 metre deep storeroom, playroom, Harry Potter shut the kids away room. Enough to keep in a pig. All right, the storeroom is all finished. So now, framing up this was on the plan. Originally the bed was going to be there, but basically it's like, I don't know what you call it, privacy nib. Little bit of wall sticking out, so when you come in, you're not straight looking at the bed. In actual fact, we've wired it so the bed could go on that wall or that wall. Obviously it's going to be a single bed for a child's room to start with, but 20 years time might be a double bed. So either way, coming in here, going to frame up, it's basically two studs. So we've railed a couple of bits up there, dad's cutting two there, and then that means we can anchor this, because this at the moment is free floating, fixed to the floor. But we weren't quite sure if the ducting for the MVHR was going to need to run over the top of this. It doesn't, so this actually could have gone all the way to the roof. Hindsight, but that was months ago. So we need to do a little extension on top of this stud wall, then we can fix it up into the tracking, and then that's a big strong T. Well, we made it. This is what we're looking like at the end of the week. We're going to have a little tour. I know I've kind of talked and walked through some of this already, but we started off, I think we were in this first. So this is what we've ended up with the shower room. Obviously, for the reasons I mentioned earlier, we had to move the doorway, but that made a much more usable room. So coming in, we've got 1200 shower there, basin, toilet, nice self-contained mini bathroom, and that's almost like its own little wing. This side of the house is like a little snug area. There's a shower room and the two girls' bedrooms. So it's kind of like the teenage end, or will be. Then we've got this closing off. Now remember, the difference between this and our last house is it's all insulated. So that's as much conditioned space as this is. So it doesn't really, we'd have to worry about insulation and sealed doors and insulated hatches and things, which is way nicer. So we've got this is going to be our partition wall, plastered on this side. Then we go through, we've got a nice big wide door. We're going to go full length. We've got 3 bays of loft space. That end will be all the plant room area. This will just be general storage. And then that one, well, we've got a little secret going in there, but that's for another day. And then walking around this way, we've kept our landing is 1.4, I think it is. So it's really wide, nice and wide, all the way, full length of the building. And we've created this big sort of space here just so it didn't feel too corridor-like. So by doing that, we've got a nice wall there for a bit of a feature. Bedroom that side, bedroom this side. This is what we'll be doing next. The only reason why we couldn't do it is because we haven't carried the tracking down. I have done that on the far end, I'll show you that now. But this needs to be done from downstairs. But the wall to go in there, wall to go in there. Nice big storage space. Job done. We'll mind these screws. And then coming along here. Now remember, this feels like you're coming upstairs straight into a bathroom, and this doesn't happen. This is actually a wall. This is temporary staircase. So our staircase is a big spiral, comes up to here. Therefore, that is a nice... Did you forget that? Yeah.
I thought it came up to here, this end.
No. So it starts there, doesn't it? And comes up to here. It just, everyone keeps, you just get used to one thing. So this is our solid wall. That'll come up to here, and that returns in. So it's full height there, but they're half height going in here.
Okay.
So that means, so you're not coming up and looking straight into a bathroom.
Yeah.
It's still...
Are you going to put anything there then, just for safety?
Yeah, there is. It's been here for about 4 months, Joe. It's all a blur. Yeah, railed. This side, we've got to do more rails over here, the ceiling tracks, and then we can finish that wall up to the top. Linen, storage, bedding, whatever it's going to be called, airing cupboard without the hot water cylinder, all in here. So we've done a door which will hinge in against that wall, full racking all the way to the top, hooks along this side, I imagine. Job done. Bathroom. We've shifted the door a little bit, so you come in, it's not leaking, it's condensation on the uninsulated bit of roofing. Fear not. Door in the middle, so you walk in, it's in line with the Velux, bath straight ahead, 1500 shower tray that side, vanity, toilet, all good. We've mapped out the plumbing. We went downstairs, drilled up where the stack is, so we knew where that was. So we're actually going to the stack for the soil pipes coming up in the corner of that room. So that means we've got easy access, whether it's between the joists or above floor. But we can kind of revisit that. Then we built this little, well, it's kind of like the opposite to the other end, but instead of putting the door, we were going to have a wall here and the door here. Well, that was what was on the plan. We really like the south light and the green, and it just needs a bit of light both ends. So we've done the door straight ahead, providing this child keeps their bedroom relatively clean and tidy. Then that door can stay open some of the time, get a bit of light through. So we put the wall there, which means that in here, just this, yeah, chuck it all that side.
Because I feel like you're asking a lot.
Yeah, I know. Which means that, now the weird thing is we've got to do wiring for potentially a double bed in 10, 20, 30 years time. But for now, it's a child's bedroom. So we've kind of thought, well, this is a good spot for the double bed. We'll put the sockets there just in case. But for now, this could be where wardrobe goes, or this could be where a single bed goes. There's loads of options. But we've just tried to kind of second guess a few things just so we don't have to rewire in the future. It probably makes more sense for the bed to go here. So when you come in, you can walk both sides. No one's shuffling around the low spot. But anyway, that's so far away, it doesn't really matter.
Yeah,
but that's
we've got enough other rooms so we can make it work.
Yeah, exactly. And then this one, this is the only bit we haven't framed in fully yet. So we need to frame in for a door. Now, I just need to make a decision whether it's going to be a 33-inch door. I know it's not metric, but that's an easy way of knowing it. 33 or a 30. Now, 33 would match everything else. However, it only gives me one depth of a stud this side, and it might be a bit tight for architrave. And I like a bit of meat to the side of the door. This side's fine. So we might have to shrink this door a little bit, or we might just make it work. Anyway, it doesn't really matter on the back side as much, but put this little privacy nib, wall, screen, just so if we do put a bed there in the future, you're not like straight in. Or you could do a old Victorian door opening in, but no. Door to the wall, the light switch can go here. I don't think that's been wired yet. No, this room hasn't.
I think I signed up on that privacy nib.
That's the architect did that. I'm just building, following plans. For once. We've carried the ceiling tracks all the way down, which is the same as we're going to do in the kitchen next week. So this is going to be 2 doors. They can be sliding, folding, whatever. but it goes into this loft space, but this can actually be used as a little bonus part of the room, shelving, wardrobe stuff. And then beyond that, we've still got perfectly usable normal loft space through here, because really that's the same as the last house as far as eaves, and you can get loads of storage in there. We're not going to close it off with another wall beyond it. That'll be insulated, a bit of acoustic insulation in the joist there, but really doesn't really matter. That's another couple of meters of storage space for.
Are you going to board it?
I'm not going to board beyond, no. Just feel like a normal loft. Okay, so last things we have to do really up here, a few noggins over there, get this door framed in, and then we can hand over to James to finish off first fix electrics. Most of up here is done, but where we hadn't built walls, we needed to wait. I need to take these walls all the way up to the top now, and then really it's ready to think about first fix plumbing, first fix MVHR, which is in design phase now. We've got another meeting on Monday. More of that kit is going to be arriving, or some of that kit will be arriving hopefully this side of the new year, and we can really start getting an idea of where that's going to go and how that's going to fit into the build. We do have one more wall, which is inside this bedroom here, another little wall that sticks out there, bit of a privacy nib, and then it's curved wall time, and this one we are actually going to build. I know we talked about a curved wall down there, but here we've got a 7.5 metre perimeter of our semicircle here, all the way up to the ceiling. I've been to the sawmill today to pick up all of our cladding for outside. At the same time, we were looking at different timber that we can use on this feature wall. I've got some exciting ideas for that. So that is going to be a really fun one, because that then pushes us one step closer to building, whether I've got the guts to build it or not, a big curved staircase that's going to come all the way up to here. But that can wait. At some point, we're going to be back to guttering. But there we go. There's your week in the dry. We've got quite comfortable in here. We might do another week next week, getting a few other bits done. But I'm going to leave it there. Thanks for watching. Remember, if you can, do it yourself. We'll see you next time.